Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about my April TBR. I'm hoping to get through a lot of these books, but I know there's a chance I might not get through all of them because of the amount of books that I have chosen. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, and now let's get straight into the video. Now, the first book that I will be talking about is a book by an author who I've read about quite a few books by this person. I've read 5 books by the person, and I've loved every single one. And that book that is in my April TBR is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. And I've got quite high expectations for this book, just for the pure fact of I have loved everything by her so far. And I got this about December time. I only got it because I like the cover. And then, yeah. But it's been in my shelf for a while, waiting to be read. And I've got quite high expectations, especially because down there it says her best novel yet. So yeah, I've got pretty high expectations. But anyway, on the back it says, "The greatest love story is the one you least expect. Alice Wright marries handsome American Bennett Van Cleve, hoping to escape her stifling life in England. Yet she doesn't care for her domineering father-in-law or the judgmental townsfolk of Baileyville, Kentucky. Restless and misunderstood, she yearns for escape and adventure, finding it in the defiant and unlikely sisterhood who bring books to the isolated and vulnerable of the wilderness. But when her father-in-law and the town suddenly turns against them, Alice fears she'll lose her freedom, friendships, and the chance of unexpected love." So I do have quite high expectations for this book. But anyway, moving on to the next book. The next book that I'm hoping to read in April is a book that I was kindly gifted by my friend Abby, and it's called That's Not What Happened by Cody Keplinger. I haven't read anything by this author before, but I do have another book by her. I have The Duff also in my bookshelf to be read. But yeah, I've watched the film and I know the films obviously aren't like the book half the time, but yeah. Anyway, moving on to the back of the book, it says, "It's been 3 years since Virgil County High shooting. 3 years since my best friend Sarah was killed in a bathroom stall. Everyone knows Sarah's story, but it's not true. I know because I was with her when she died. This might be my last chance to set the record straight, but I'm not the only survivor with a story to tell about what did and didn't happen that day. And the fake Sarah story is important to a lot of people who don't take kindly to what I'm trying to do. The more I learn, the less certain I am about what's worse, the guilt of staying silent or the consequences of speaking up." So yeah, this does sound quite good. And I'm quite excited to read it because it looks a bit different compared to what I normally read. So yeah, this is the second book that I'd like to read. The next book which I'd like to read is a book that I've had in my shelf for quite a while, and I've been quite excited to read it, but I've never really got into actually reading it yet. And this book is My Sister the Serial Killer by, I know for a fact I'm going to pronounce this name wrong, but I'd attempt to pronounce it, and it's Oyinkan Braithwaite. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but yeah. I've heard quite a few things about this book, but not many, because I try not to look into other people's views on books. But yeah, I'm quite excited for this book just because of how it looks. It looks quite good, and even though it's quite a small book. I'm very excited. But anyway, on the back it says, when Careed's dinner is interrupted one night by a distress call from her sister Ayula, she knows what's expected of her. Bleach, rubber gloves, nerves of steel and a strong stomach. This will be the third boyfriend Ayula's dispatched in self-defence and the third mess that her lethal little sibling has left Careed to clear away. She should probably go to the police for the good of the menfolk of Nigeria, but she loves her sister, and they say family always come first. Until, that is, Ayula starts dating the doctor where Careed works as a nurse. Careed's long been in love with him and isn't prepared to see him wind up with a knife in his back, but to save one would mean sacrificing the other. So yeah, this sounds really good and I'm very excited to read this book. So yeah, that's the third book that I'm hoping to read in April. Moving on to the next book is a book that I've wanted to read for quite a while because I've got several of her books in my shelf to be read, and I've read one book by her which I absolutely love, and the next book is Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. And I've got, I think, about 4 or 5 books in my to be read in my to be read bookshelf, and I've only read Leave and Time by her, which I thought was such a beautiful book and beautifully written. So I do have high expectations for this book just because I love the other book so much. And anyway, on the back it says, when a newborn baby dies after a routine hospital procedure, there is no doubt who will be held responsible. The nurse who had been banned from looking after the baby by his father. What the nurse, her lawyer and the father of the child cannot know is how this death will irrevocably change all of their lives in ways both expected and not. Small Great Things is about prejudice and power. It is about that which divides and unites us. It's about opening your eyes. So I'm quite excited to read this book, even though the book is kind of in pieces, but I'm hoping it will stay together while I read it to find. But yeah, I'm quite excited to read this book as well. Moving on to the next book is a book where I've watched a film of already, but only when I was little, because when I was little I was always so scared of the book. I was actually like so petrified, and I was so scared of the film, I meant. But the cover used to scare me as well, the cover of the film. And when I was little, my little sister used to chase me around the house with the DVD cover, and I used to be screaming in fear. And I've just never watched a film since. So I found the book in a charity shop, and I was like, oh, I'd read the book to see if I'm as scared. Because one day I'd hopefully like to watch the film without being in fear. But anyway, the next book I'm hoping to read in April is Watership Down by Richard Adams. And on the back it says, Fiver Kid sensed danger. Something terrible was going to happen to the Warren. He felt sure of it. So did his brother Hazel. For Fiver's sixth sense was never wrong. They had to leave the Warren. And so a small band of rabbits began a long perilous journey. So yeah, this is the next book I'm going to read, and I'm kind of quite nervous but excited. I'm nervous because every time I look at the book I can remember the DVD cover of this scary rabbit. So yeah, this is the next book I'm hoping to read in April. The next book that I'm hoping to read is a book called The Secret by Katrina Diamond, and the only reason I've kept the sticker on is because I've tried like taking stickers off books and stuff and they just don't come off. Like they leave that horrible sticky stuff, so I've left the sticker on there just for that sake. And anyway, on the back it says, "Can you keep a secret? When Bridget Reed wakes up in a locked room, terrifying memories come flooding back of blood, pain and desperate fear. Her captor knows things she's never told anyone. How can she escape someone who knows all of her secrets?" As DS Imogen Gray and DS Adrian Miles search for Bridget, they uncover a horrifying web of abuse, betrayal and murder right under their noses in Exeter. And as the past comes back to haunt her, Gray must confront her own demons because she knows that it can be those closest to us who hurt us the most. So yeah, this is the next book I'm hoping to read in April. The next book I'm hoping to read is a book that, from like the back and from the cover, I'm hoping will be kind of a light read, because I don't want to read too many like rough books, not rough books, but I can't think of the right word to use. But anyway, the next book I'm hoping to read in April is Half the World Away by Mike Gale. I've heard quite a few mixed things about this, but I'm quite excited. And on the back it says, "Strangers live in worlds apart, but it wasn't always that way. Kerry Hayes is a single mum living on a tough South London estate. She provides for her son by cleaning houses she could never afford. Taken into care as a child, Kerry cannot forget her past. Noah Martineau is a successful barrister with a beautiful wife, daughter and a home in fashionable Primrose Hill. Adopted as a young child, Noah never looks back. When Kerry contacts Noah, the sibling she lost on a day they were torn apart as children, she sets in motion a chain of events that will change both their lives forever." So yeah, this is another one of the books I'm hoping to read in April. Another book that I'd like to read in April is a book called Prey by James Carroll. And this is a book that I found in Poundland. So yeah. And then moving on to the back, it says, "Has Jefferson Winter finally met his match? 6 years ago, a young married couple were found brutally stabbed to death in their home in upstate New York. Local police arrested a suspect who later committed suicide. But what if the police got it wrong? Ex-FBI profiler Jefferson Winter is drawn into a deadly cat and mouse game with a mysterious female psychopath as she sets him a challenge. Find out what really happened 6 years ago. The clock is ticking, and as Winter is about to find out, the end game is everything." So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this one because it seems quite interesting and seems quite that it'll be quite exciting. So yeah, this is the next book that I'd like to read in April. Moving on to the second to last book which I'd like to read in April, and that book is Dear Martin by Nick Stone, which I'm quite excited for. I have tried reading this before, but I can't remember why, I think I lost the book, so I ended up moving on to something else, then I found it. And I also have in my bookshelf, I think it's called Dear Justice. I know it's somewhere. I have Dear Justice somewhere up there as well. And on the back it says, "Justice is a good kid, so why is he the one in handcuffs? Justice McAllister is top of his class, captain of the debate team and set for Ivy League college, but none of that matters to the police officer who put him in handcuffs. Released without charge, Justice is frustrated that despite leaving his rough neighbourhood, he can't seem to escape the scorn of his former peers or the attitude of his new classmates. Justice has studied the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King, but do Do they hold up now? He starts the journal to Dr. King to find out. Then Justice goes driving with his best friend Manny. Windows rolled down, music turned up, much to the fury of the white off-duty cop beside them. Words fly, shots are fired, and Justice and Manny are caught in the crossfire. So yeah, this is the next book which I'm hoping to read, which I quite am excited for because it does sound interesting. It sounds a lot like, just from reading the back, it sounds quite similar to The Hate You Give. And The Hate You Give is one of my favourite books, so I reckon I will enjoy this book almost as much. Maybe a little less, but I reckon I'd enjoy it. Moving on to the last book, which I'm hoping to read in April, is a book that I have had in my bookshelf for the longest of time, and I was thinking of buying the whole series before I started reading the books, but then I thought I'd read the first 2 books and see if I enjoy them, then buy the rest of the series. And the book that I've decided on is Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, which I am so excited for. And on the back it says, "You are a nought and I'm a cross, and there's nowhere for us to be. Nowhere for us to go, would be left in peace. That's why I started crying, for all the times we're never gonna have." Seffi Hadley and Callum McGregor have been friends since childhood, and they both know that that's as far as it can go. Theirs is a world full of racism, fear and mountain violence, where noughts and crosses are fated to be enemies. Then against all odds, these star-crossed lovers choose each other, but this is a love story that will lead them both into terrible danger. So yeah, this is the last book in April that I'm hoping to read, or at least start, and I am honestly so incredibly excited to read this book because I've seen so many good things about this book, and it just sounds like a book that I will enjoy so much. So yeah, that's the last book I'm hoping to read, or at least start, in April. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know if you've read any of these books that is in my TBR pile for April, and let me know your opinions of them, and also comment down below your favourite and least favourite books so we could have a conversation about them if I've read them or not. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and comment what videos you also want me to try. Thanks, bye!